Yo, 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 what's going on? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Empire Jeff TV. Coming to you on a Monday night, man. Hope everyone's doing well. Last official day of the MLB regular season. We had a great game earlier today, man. One of the best final games, or, you know, a season-ending doubleheader to decide three teams' position in the playoffs. Absolutely incredible game one of that, which pretty much made game two irrelevant. We will touch on that. We'll touch on the playoffs. We'll touch on a few different things. But we lost two people in the sports world today, in Dikembe Mutombo and Pete Rose, two totally different men from two totally different backgrounds and two totally different brands of character, both in kind of how they acted and kind of how they carried themselves and kind of probably how they'll be remembered. Dikembe Mutombo was probably a saint compared to Pete Rose. Don't want to speak, foul on the dead, obviously. Rest in peace to Pete Rose. Rest in peace to Dikembe Mutombo. So when I say that, it's just Dikembe was just pretty much loved and respected by everyone. Pete Rose was a different type of guy, right? He was a different type of guy. And obviously I didn't have this video planned today, because I didn't know he was going to pass, right? Did not know that this was going to happen. I was getting ready to do my Laker Media Day show, my return to covering NBA, after, taking a hiatus there. But, since I've been kind of just fully dived in here on baseball, you can't cover baseball, not cover the passing of Pete Rose. I mean, you just can't do it. And so at the end of the day, my thing with Pete Rose is, and I met Pete multiple times. I don't know him. Like, I can't reach out to him directly, nothing like that. Just at events, memorabilia shows, signing events and stuff like that. I have a good friend, a couple of friends actually, that have businesses with memorabilia, and they have events in Vegas often. and across the country, really, and also in LA, right? And so Pete Rose, I, was able to meet and speak to in multiple times at events like these. So it was he was a different guy. He was always good to me. He was always cool. He was always respectful. He was a different guy though. He's kind of shifty. He was he didn't pull any punches. But like I said, he was always good to me. So respectfully, we all know what he got caught doing. We all know that he not only bet on baseball while managing the Cincinnati Reds, that he effectively kind of cheated the game, lied about it for well over 15 years, and then finally came clean about it in 2004 during an interview. And 15 years of denying it is probably why he's not in the MLB Hall of Fame. And I always felt what he did as a manager, right? And it's wrong. There's no way to flip that. What he did was crazy, and baseball is a very unforgiving sport when you do crazy stuff. And I felt that they should have put him still in the Hall of Fame as a player. All-time hit leader in MLB history, not in the MLB Hall of Fame, is still kind of crazy to me, even though I'm aware of what he did. Many people are, but he did that as a manager, not as a player. And don't let him be involved, can't manage, can't call games, can't be employed or anything associated with MLB. That I think is fine. But I think the saddest part of this whole thing is he never got to enter the Hall of Fame while he was alive. At some point, they'll probably put him in there, but him and his family won't get to see that while he's alive, right? And I felt like the way MLB did Roger Maris back in the day when he broke Babe Ruth's record, him and Mantle chasing it, Maris did it. They never really honored it or actually fully gave it to him until after Maris died. And I felt that I felt that was bad. That was shady. Baseball has a dark history of doing stupid stuff like that when it comes to certain things. Very prideful sport, very political. Guys like Roger Maris, he played the games he had, right? He broke a record, and they tried to not let it count. Well, Pete Rose clearly broke a record, kept exceeding it, and the leader in hits in MLB history is not in the Hall of Fame because of something he did as a manager. And I think he should have been in the Hall of Fame as a player and just not allowed to partake in anything within the MLB on top of it. But rest in peace to Pete Rose, man. I wasn't old enough. So I see some of the guys there. I see Craig. I see if Roy Estrada comes in here tonight or BC. I'm real curious to hear from the guys who actually watched Pete Rose play. I've studied Pete Rose. I've watched a lot of film, read about him. Like I said, I've met him. My grandpa, will tell me all kinds of stuff about him. So I'm aware of his career. I'm aware of his accolades. I'm aware of a lot of the things about Pete Rose. I just never saw him play live with my own eyes. As a matter of fact, when he was managing, I remember it, being a kid of the 80s, right? I remember the late 80s when he was managing, but not a ton of memories, right? Yeah, I believe he got caught up in 89. So, and then has been out of baseball basically for 35 years, right? But this guy, the amount of big games he played in, and I think if you ever talk to anyone who's covered the game, anyone who's played with him, played against him, played in his era, worked with him in TV on Fox or anything like that, the thing about Pete Rose when it came to playing the sport of baseball, I don't believe we've ever seen anyone play harder or want to win more and literally would run over a person to win. And he's had brawls during play on the infield. He ran through in the All-Star game. He ran through another player at the plate in an All-Star game. You would never see that in today's game. He played very, very hard. He played with an edge. Was kind of a jerk the way he went about it, but he did it in a way that was all for winning, right? And we will never see a player like him again, not just because it just won the era, just would never tolerate stuff like that, right, in today's game. but two, it's just a different era, a different breed. And the amount of hits that he got to, being the leader in hits and the things that he accomplished. I'll touch on some of his accomplishments here in a second, as well as some of his things that are a bad example of what not to do in sports, right? But you cannot lose an icon. You cannot lose a legend. In most scenarios would be a first ballot Hall of Famer and one of the best players that ever played, and be someone to trying to cover the sport and not speak on it. Like I understand he did distasteful things. He got caught. He did things he shouldn't have did, including denying it for 15 years. He should have came clean immediately. Maybe at that point, he's at least in the Hall of Fame. Maybe not working in baseball, but maybe there's a suspension for a certain amount of time. But because he was denying it for so long, just like why Bonds isn't in the Hall of Fame, he should be in the Hall of Fame as well. I understand what he did too. I understand he took more than likely took steroids in the steroids era. But Barry Bonds was already a first ballot Hall of Famer when he was in Pittsburgh before he ever came to the Giants and juiced up. He was already a Hall of Fame player. And I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. Baseball made a lot of money, a lot of headlines, and the sport was essentially saved by that era. So at the end of the day, I knew it was cheating, but it was cheating in a league when everyone was cheating for the most part. And that era should have Hall of Famers in my book. It just should. I understand why some people would think the other way. I understand why some people would not agree with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm just saying everyone benefited from that except the players who did it. Every one of them. Every one of them. So while it's not ideal and why it's not something you should ever hope to see again, Barry Bonds and Pete Rose should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. They should. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people have a lot of different and strong opinions on that. That's just mine, right? That's just mine. And part of the hardest thing about him passing for me, because I actually spoke to him about this. I've actually asked him these questions. He talked with me at length. He gave me time. There were times I purchased memorabilia, times I didn't. But he gave me the same time no matter what. So out of respect to that, I'm going to give him that time too. He was very nice to me. My wife met him too. He was very nice to her. Sad story. I wish he never bet on baseball. I'm sure he wished he never bet on baseball. His family as well. But he did. I still do wish he was in the Hall of Fame. So that's just me. I know there are people who would think otherwise. And again, we know what he did. But a man is dead now. He passed on. And getting that many amount of hits, man, that is a God level right there. So 4,256 career hits. He stands as the Major League Baseball's all-time hit leader. Unparalleled, 4,256 hits over his career. It's an incredible record. It's not just highlighting the skill, but also his sheer determination and dedication to the game while playing. I mean, he won 3 World Series championships, 75, 76, and 80. His victories with Cincinnati, the Reds, and the Philadelphia Phillies reflect his knack for performing under pressure and contributing significantly to his team's success in bigger stages. He won the 1973 National League MVP, 17-time All-Star selection, 17 times. National League Rookie of the Year in 63, 3-time National League batting champion, 68, 69, and 73. National League Gold Glove winner in 69 and 70. That could work with the glove too. His defensive skills were recognized with 2 Gold Gloves, showing some versatility there, and his excellence on both sides of the plate, man, both on the diamond and in the box. So you got that. You got the accolades. You got everything he did. But then you got the lifetime ban, which happened in 89. Probably the most infamous incident in Rose's career was his lifetime ban from baseball by commissioner at the time, Bartlett. Bartlett and Giamatti banned him after an investigation revealed that Rose bet on baseball games while he was while playing for and managing the Cincinnati Reds. Okay, so playing. See, I thought it always came out later that it was while he managed. Maybe I got that wrong. But because I'm talking to him, he made it seem like it was mainly just the managing portion of it. He went to jail for tax evasion in 1980. He went through some legal troubles there. Obviously not in the Hall of Fame. And he would start signing baseballs. Like he would sign on it, basically signing the autograph with "I'm sorry I bet on baseball" on them. And like I said, the Charlie Hustle nickname of running around and through people. Just crazy, man. He ran over that dude. But like I remember the book I read, it said like the majority of the betting that he did was while he was managing. And I don't know. I truly don't know. I don't know how many games he bet on that he played in. I don't know about that. But at that point, yeah, it's a very touchy subject. But I never got to see him play. I wish I could have, but I definitely didn't get to see him play. And you know, at the end of the day, what he did, he had to live with. He's gone now, and he had a hell of a Major League Baseball career. So rest in peace to Mr. Pete Rose, man. And you know, I'm appreciative to have met him. Appreciative to have been able to have conversations with him. And you know, I flat out told him, like, man, you had everything. Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? And he's just like, it's a disease, you know, it's a disease. And like anything else, alcoholism or anything like that, like, no, it's not for me to judge him on that perspective. What he did to himself. But outside of that, like I said, he was cool to me, so I appreciate that. Heck of a career, and may he rest in peace, man. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. This isn't a typical, you know, subject we typically talk about on the field, right? Typically talking about the playoffs, the Dodgers, this, that. But you know, when Pete Rose passes away, it's a big deal. So I definitely had to cover it. LA for Life said, no. What's going on, LA for Life? We all know what he did, and is my boy Big No. No, I know, I get it. Like I said, I'm not here to defend him. I'm just here to, you know, pay respects. At the end of the day, he's a human being that passed away, an all-time great. And just, you know, like I said, I was fully ready to do this Laker show. I didn't even know he passed, right? I was doing a bunch of stuff, and then my boy Lowe, shout out to Lowe, Loe, he texts me and goes, damn, first him now Pete Rose. I was like, what? Because I wasn't really on like Twitter or the like I was like, what? So I didn't even like see it online. Like a friend told me, and I was like, oh man. So that man, sucks. What's going on, Craig? Pete Rose was so competitive that he ran over the catcher in an all-star game and broke his shoulder. Never the same. Yeah, that was it right there. I remember Pete always running to first on a walk. Yeah, right. And then he had that head first slide, man. That head first slide. Should be in Hall of Fame as a player. Yeah, that's what I've been saying, man. What's going on, Daniel Barry? Appreciate you, man. What's going on, Roy? Appreciate you for tuning in as well. Yeah. So there's a guy he ran over. So I'm interested to hear like the guys who watched him play. Because like I said, I used to talk to my grandpa about him all the time. You know, but I did not get to actually watch him play. Roy says, Jeff, you never saw Pete Rose play, and if you did, you were in diapers or in a Smurf. One of the greatest baseball players to put on a uniform. Ironically, he died in Vegas. That's where I met him most of the times I met him was in Vegas. Like I said, he did a lot of events out there, and so I met him several times actually, you know, and always cool, man. And yeah, I was not old enough to watch him play, barely old enough to watch him manage. But you know, there's the greats that you wish you could have watched play that you didn't, and Pete Rose is one of those guys, man, legend, and without a doubt. I watched that game. All-Star games were serious back then. Oh yeah, All-Star games were different animal, different breed, right? So yeah, man, just rest in peace to him. You know, I felt you know, a video like this was required, and like I said, I didn't know the man. He wasn't someone I could pick up the phone and call or email or nothing like that. But he was someone that I was, you know, blessed enough to have contact with and have conversations with at events. And being that it was multiple times he remembered me, because we had some pretty good conversations. And man, yeah, he was cool, man. He was cool to me, like I said. So rest in peace to him. Rest in peace to the Dikembe Mutombo, man. I know this is a Pete Rose show, a baseball show, but they passed on the same day. And Dikembe was someone whose career I watched in entirety, from his rookie year to the year the Denver Nuggets beat the Sonics, the first time an 8 seed beat the number 1 seed. He was the starting center for the Philadelphia 76ers when the Lakers played him in the 2001 NBA Finals. He would have been the center we would have got in 96 if they didn't get Shaq. If the Dikembe was lined up, he was destined to be a Laker if not for Shaq. Like Dikembe, I never met Dikembe. Never met him. Don't know him, obviously. But because I did meet Pete Rose, I felt I had to do the video. But Dikembe, I watched his whole career. Was not able to watch Pete Rose, but the Dikembe's I did. Incredible defensive presence. We all know the no, the waving the finger. And I've never heard anyone say anything bad about Dikembe Mutombo, other than sometimes they couldn't understand what he was saying. Outside of that, I never heard anyone talk bad about Dikembe. So rest in peace to Dikembe Mutombo. He was a pleasure to watch. He was a treasure to the sport. And like I said, I never heard anyone say a bad thing about him. Kind of the opposite of Pete Rose. Like I said, Dikembe was basically a saint compared to Pete Rose. But there's no question that Pete Rose was the bigger star, right? The bigger legend. And it sucks that Dikembe died so young. Pete Rose got to live to 83. Sad that he's gone, but Dikembe going so young just hurts. Like that stings. And I saw Peter Vesey say, they had a pretty good relationship. And when he said he saw him about 6 months ago, Dikembe didn't even know who he was. He couldn't recognize him. And you had to know then that it was getting to the point where it was probably getting close, right? And that's sad. It's sad. Pete Rose got to live a full life. He had his sorrows, right? He had his dark times, right? He had his probably definitely a lot of pain there. But Dikembe lived a life, like I said, he was extremely loved and respected. For sure. Chris, what's going on, Chris? Every time I saw highlights of Pete Rose, he was just out hustling the other team. Yeah, Charlie Hustle, man. And shout out to Chris, man. He's the one that created the graphic for the thumbnail of the show today. Not this, amateur graphic that I have on the screen right now for my for my background here. But I'm talking about the actual thumbnail of the video. That was all the graphic god, Chris. He probably made that in like 17 seconds. You know what I mean? 17 seconds of greatness just done. So thank you, Chris, for allowing me to use that as the thumbnail. I definitely appreciate it. Mutombo built hospitals in Africa. Yeah, Mutombo was great, man. He did so many things for so many people. Jeff, you want a present day comparison? Ohtani. Ohtani has taken his game to another level and leading the Dodgers. Heck, he got Barnes to steal third base on a yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, you're right. You're right. We are witnessing a whole different level of greatness with Shohei Ohtani, like a whole different level of greatness, like that I've never seen in all my years watching baseball. And I am thrilled to death that I get to watch him play, because he's probably going to go down as the best player ever. So being able to have watched Bonds, to be able to have watched Ohtani, the McGuire Sosa run there of the home runs in the late 90s. I never got to see Reggie Jackson. I did, but he was like old. I didn't get to see like prime Ricky Henderson. Like I didn't get to see like obviously Willie Mays, obviously Jackie Robinson. There's too many names in baseball. I cannot do this. It's too many names. Hank Aaron. Like there's so many names that I cannot even touch. Like imagine being alive to be able to watch that Yankees Murderers Row, man. My God, like imagine. But so many greats in the sport of baseball, right? And every era has them. And I feel like every era of baseball has their legends that are just next level legends. I think there's a lot of good NBA players now, but the legends, Jerry West spoke on this. Like, there's not a lot of the legends anymore in today's game. There's all-stars, there's really good players, but like the actual like legends in today's era, we're gonna have to wait and see how this all, they all pan out. But in baseball, there's just legends in every single era and multiple ones. And unfortunately, because the game is so old, a lot of those legends are gone. They're gone. So, did you guys catch that doubleheader today? Did you catch that game one of the Mets against Atlanta? And Arizona's like social media sitting back and like obviously like waiting to see who they're going to be cheering for in game two and who they're like. It was just a whole like hot mess of how that game could have went. And clearly whoever won game one was at a disadvantage in game two because they were going to sit their people because they clinched. So it almost felt like no matter what, Arizona was not going to get in. And they didn't. And funny enough, we were sitting back saying how strong the National League West was because it's probably going to end up with 3 playoff teams in there. And it ended up being the National League East having 3 representatives in the postseason, man. So the NL East and the NL West pretty much dominate the NL playoffs. You do got a team from the Central there in Milwaukee with the 3rd seed. But it's going to be a very, very interesting playoff run that we got coming up here. And it's going to be fun. Like I said, guys, this is going to be the best era. It's going to be the best playoffs I think we've ever seen in the sport. I really think so. Going to be incredible. But today's game, if it was any indication, when the Braves go up 2-0 on that Albies homer, right? They go up 3-0 eventually. And then the Mets just come roaring back with 6 runs. What was that? Was that the 7th inning? 7th, 8th inning? 6 runs to make it 6-3. You're like, oh man, they're about to take this. And Atlanta comes roaring back. Albies with a bases loaded clearing double. They take a 7-6 lead. And then Francisco Lindor claps one, a 2-run home run in the top of the 9th to give the Mets the lead for good. Incredible baseball game this morning, man. So I was watching that, right? And you had Lakers Media Day, which I did not watch live because I was tapped into the doubleheader. And that game was just ridiculous. So I've since watched the Media Day, and I was getting ready to do a video on that. And like I said, the Pete Rose news came. But as we look at this bracket here, if you will, you see that the Dodgers, Yankees, Guardians, and Phillies all have a first round bye. So I'm curious in the chat, how do you guys see this first round of the wild card round playing out here between Detroit, Houston, Kansas City, Baltimore, the New York Mets and the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Atlanta Braves and the San Diego Padres? Curious to see who you guys have winning each round. It's going to be a very, very competitive playoffs. DJ, what's going on, my brother? Salute to DJ from Lakers in 5. Appreciate you, man. Go subscribe. Good guy, great channel, great content, a lot of fun over there. You'll find me over there often as well. Great place for basketball, man. Make sure to go subscribe to DJ. DJ, if you're working tonight, man, stay safe, brother. I appreciate you. Greg says, did you see Dave Kingman? He had a fit of customers after the 3 homers. Yeah, he did. Big Baby, what's going on, man? Appreciate you for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to Big Baby Sports as well. Yeah, you saw both games. Yeah, I couldn't miss these, man. La Sorda. Chris says, will Dodgers have too much rest, or will Ohtani get us an NLCS? So, you know what, Chris? Early in the season, I was thinking, man, you might not want to get the best record this year because of what happened, what's happened in the past. But this year, you just have to, with just having a starting rotation kind of in shambles. You want your bullpen to get rest. Ohtani's going ballistic here. But you know what? This season, I think they need the rest. I think they need the time off, lock in, put in work. I did see something that they were going to kind of change their approach during the off time that they did in previous years. So hopefully that does something, right? But I think the Dodgers can win it all. I think multiple teams have what it takes to win it all. I think it's wide open. I think the Dodgers clearly have the best player and the hottest player in baseball right now. They don't have the best starting pitching right now, but neither does Atlanta, especially with Sale out. Philadelphia's pitching has been getting touched up pretty good of late. Baltimore doesn't really have any pitching from a starting perspective either. Once you get past Corbin Burns, it's pretty much after that. So Kansas City, went out and spent some money this offseason, over $100 million, and they've got a pretty solid three-man crew there to start off with. Detroit, Houston is going to be an interesting one. That one right there, Detroit has been on absolute fire, kind of the New York Mets of the AL. They were kind of down and out and went in and did their thing and basically overtook Minnesota to get in. Cleveland can score a bunch of runs. They've had a very solid year, and then the New York Yankees, right? So with the Aaron Judge should be MVP of the American League. So, and then when you look on the NL here, man, New York and Milwaukee, that's gonna be a heck of a series. Milwaukee's been the better team all season, but New York has been the hot team since the All-Star break. And like I said, you got Atlanta and San Diego. Atlanta's running into some pitching problems. The bats have kind of started to take off of late. And the Padres are legit, y'all. They're real. They may end up being the biggest threat to the Dodgers in the NL. The Phillies, like I said, very, very good. Their pitching has been going through it of late. They lost to some bad teams. Arizona, if they had just taken care of business, like losing that Giant series, losing that Rocky series, like you can't have those that late in the season, expect to get into the playoffs. Like Arizona just fell apart. They lost the Dodger series 1-3. They lost the Giant series. They lost the Rocky series. Like you can't lose those series and expect to make the playoffs. You just can't do it. So, Chris, to answer your question, the Dodgers almost had like no choice this year. Go for the best record. Get that home field, because being that you are limited with your pitching, as far as big names available, there really is no ace on this team. So it kind of is in your best interest to get those pitchers pitching in front of your home crowd as much as you possibly can. And with home field advantage through the playoffs, they have that. Now they got to take advantage of it. They got to make it work for them. They absolutely have to. So if not, they'll be going home again without a World Series championship. And but they definitely still have the shot. They still have a shot. As good a shot as anyone else right now. And we do have Shohei Ohtani, who's playing better than anyone else right now. And we have home field. So if all three of those things work in our favor, then the Dodgers will be hoisting the World Series trophy. But those things have to go our way. The Dodgers are going to have to score a lot of runs. The bullpen's going to have to give up not a lot of runs, right? Starting pitching just has to be not bad. Just don't be bad. Anyway, and then we got our chance. We'll have our chance. But today's game was great. Tomorrow's games are going to be nuts. There's baseball all week, multiple games all week, leading up till Saturday when the Dodgers play. And I cannot wait to see playoff baseball at Dodger Stadium, man. I cannot wait to see these other teams play. I cannot wait to see Detroit, Houston, Kansas City, Baltimore, New York, Milwaukee, Atlanta, San Diego. This is going to be fun, y'all. This is going to be very, very fun. And I've been waiting for this. I told you guys when the season kicked off, this is going to be a very fun season. This is going to be one of the best seasons we've ever seen. It has been. And I still believe that this is going to be one of the best playoffs we have ever seen. I believe that this October is going to be madness. And we got basketball right around the corner, man. Incredible time for sports. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like I said, I had to tap in on a Pete Rose video. I'm kind of undecided if I'm going to do my Laker video now or not. I'm kind of, but Pete Rose, Dikembe, sad news, man. Not to make light of it, but also rest in peace to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Their season died today. And let me know in the chat who you have as the upset in the wild card series. Let me know who you view as the upset in the wild card series. And I see a potential for multiple upsets. I really, really do. I could see the Mets beating the Brewers. I could see Detroit, because the run they're on, giving some hell to Houston. And I could see Kansas City beating Baltimore. The only one I struggle to see an upset in is Atlanta over San Diego, just because San Diego is going to have all their pitching. Atlanta's not. And it's at Petco Park. And if we get Dodgers and Padres in round 2 in the NLDS, oh man, Oh, man. That is going to be wild. And the Dodgers got to bring it, man. The Dodgers got to bring it. There's no really easy out here. Like, if it's Atlanta, too. If Atlanta overcomes San Diego, that's because their pitching was handling business and their bats got busy. But Dodgers, Padres in round 2 in the NLDS is going to be wild, man. That's going to be wild. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Y'all could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate that. Drop a like on the video if you have not done so already. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Shout out to everyone over on Twitter, too. I see you rocking over there. I appreciate you guys. I may or may not be back tonight with the Laker video on Media Day. I'm kind of 50-50 with it right now. But if not, I will catch you guys tomorrow. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for your time. Go Dodgers. Let's enjoy some playoff baseball, man. I'm out of here.